Good morning out there, YouTube viewers and listeners. It's Karim with Marriage in a Minute. Just coming to you today, wherever you are out there, it's good morning, good evening, good afternoon. Just coming to you today with a word that um, is very, I would say vital for marriages. Communication, this C word called communication. It's very, very vital for a great marriage relationship. And a lot of times we tend to you know, approach communication from the wrong perspective. And communication is very broad. The word communication is something that when you think about it, it's like I'm talking to you, you're talking to me, but it's a lot of other factors involved. So you have good communication and you have bad communication, as you guys know. And every spouse wants to communicate. I don't think there's any spouse out there who wants to just shut up and shut down and don't speak, because that's a part of marriage relationship, right? You want to relate to each other, you want to talk to each other, you want to communicate with each other. But a lot of times we get into this situation where we start to have bad communication, and the reason that happens a lot of times is because we don't think about how we communicate. We don't think about is this gonna hurt my spouse at the time when you're talking. So a lot of times you don't intend to say something, or body language or whatever it is, that attitude, you don't intend to hurt your spouse, but sometimes it happens just naturally because we're human beings. We're not perfect. We're different people. I'm different from Michelle. She has a different thought process. I have a different thought process. But in the middle of the communication, we don't think these things. So a lot of times it turns out bad, and then resentment builds up, or bad feelings, of course, and we start to get defensive with each other. So if we could just think about what is good communication, and this is what this video is going to talk about. I'm going to show you a video clip that's going to break it down even better. But, well, I shouldn't say better, but it's going to break it down in a way that you can apply these things to your marriage. And trust me, if you apply these things to your marriage, it's going to help you. You're going to develop more harmony, more peace. Even when you're upset, you could still have a peaceful communication. I'm going to say that again. Even when you're upset with each other and you want to talk about stuff, you could still have good communication. And good communication is what's going to help that bad time to turn to good. Bad communication is like you have a fire and you keep pouring the oil on it, kerosene oil or whatever it is, and it keeps blazing up. Have you ever seen you're talking to your spouse about something, and surprisingly your spouse is upset about what you said to them, and you're sitting there like, what did I do wrong? What did I say wrong? You don't realize it, right? That's what happens sometimes. But your intention is not bad, but sometimes it comes off that way to your spouse, and then your spouse may take it the wrong way. Sometimes I'm talking to Michelle about something and I say something and she gets upset about it, and I'm like thinking, what did I say wrong, or how did I say this that's causing this? But guess what? The bottom line is it caused something. So to sit there and quantify or qualify, your spouse should not feel that way about it. It's making it worse, because then you're starting to defend yourself, right? So the thing is that problems are going to come up in marriages, right? But whenever the way how you communicate through these problems is what's going to resolve issues in a peaceful way. All right, it's just the way how you communicate. Are you going to be thinking about yourself, take responsibility for what you have said or how you've said it? Or even if you don't feel like you have said anything wrong or said it in a wrong way, think about how you could have done it differently. Find out from your spouse, how could I have said this a different way, or how could I have behaved a different way, even though you don't believe it's something that should, offend your spouse. Just taking responsibility for yourself will bring more peace in the marriage. You don't have to feel like you are right all the time. Even if you're right, it's a matter of how you communicate it, right? So being on the defense is going to cause bigger problems. Defending yourself is going to cause bigger problems. Love doesn't try to defend self. Love tries to find out from your spouse, how can I make you better? How can I make you feel differently? And if both spouses do that, so watch this clip and
argument? It's because you're both focused on two different things. I know this because I did it for years. What happens is, the logical one, normally the man, is focused on the facts of the behavior. The emotional one, normally the woman, who feels she did nothing wrong, focuses on the husband's frustration as being the problem. So you can see how this takes a conversation with positive intentions into quickly adding another layer of drama into the relationship. The husband is fighting to address the original topic, her behavior. The wife is fighting to defend herself against what she thinks is his unjustified bad attitude, language, and behavior towards her. So basically, because many women have a disconnect between their behavior and the outcome, automatically a woman gets defensive and goes to, he's the problem, his anger is the problem, not what she said. So now the husband thinks, she did this silly thing, I try to talk to her about it, and now I'm being attacked as the problem, and the real issue still exists. The wife feels like, because she is doing her best and her intentions are not evil, she is being attacked out of nowhere, because she still hasn't connected her behavior to his reaction. So problems are never really resolved. They're just adding more straws to the camel's back. See how crazy this is? Women need to understand that men respect people who take responsibility. He is not trying to degrade you. He just wants an understanding that makes the rest of your life better. Men need to understand that very often women will be defensive once they interpret your statement as a judgment on their behavior, because they think their intention and their love for you are the only things that are important, not the actions they take. Unfortunately, she will get defensive no matter your word choice or tone, unless you plan it carefully, of course. A great option is to start the conversation with, I know you love me and you are doing your best for us as a couple. Let's figure out if this behavior is getting what you actually intended, or something like that. This approach lets her know that you care about her and want the best.
And be encouraged. Stay encouraged. Check out our